Last off.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AMC podcast. I'm your host, Super, and here with me we have the Troll 2001. How you doing?
Hello. How are you doing?
You're doing horrible?
That's my life.
Oh no, let's that sucks. Anyway, so Troll, um,
Hmm.
what's up, man? How you been?
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely, nice. You're just in the fetal position in the corner of your room.
Wait, let me back up real fast.
Oh God, no, don't. You
It's
there?
better. Yeah.
No, dude, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so Troll, how you doing again?
Lovely.
Lovely, nice, nice, nice. So, let's just get straight into this. So, Troll, how do you like AMC?
It's a very peaceful server. I use it as my quote unquote replacement server for a server that went down last September.
Called?
Anarchy.pw.
Ah, PW.
Anarchy server.
I remember It's Cancer streaming on there a few times.
And then he ended up on 3B and then 4B and then 2B.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are your relationships with people on Anarchy? Now, I know, like you said, you've been on Anarchy PW, and I guarantee I can't guarantee you. I'm gonna bet that you've been on 2B and other servers, but how are your relationship with people? Like, do they generally like you?
I'm a generally liked person, yes. Except for the people that hate me.
Yeah, speaking of people who hate you, there's quite a lot of them, if I'm being honest.
Quite a list.
Yeah, quite a Santa's sleigh list, you know. Um, how do you feel about the amount of people who dislike you?
Well, I don't really care who hates me and who doesn't. Like, I really don't care that much because it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. It just makes them look like total cuckheads. Like, I don't care.
Really? Is that your phone?
Yeah,
No, nice.
it's
Anyway, so
extremely loud, probably.
it's fine. Don't worry. Well, headphone warning after the actual thing. Anyway, so Troll, on other servers, how long have you been playing Anarchy?
I must say around 2012-ish.
2012, really? Because I don't have math this semester, so I'm gonna let you do the math and tell me how many years that's been.
2019. 7.
Are-
It should not have taken me that long.
It really shouldn't have. Okay, anyway, going into this, uh, now I know there's a lot of very infamous people that you put yourself with, whether it be Jared or other people. How do you feel about Jared?
I'm pretty chill with him. If he's chill with me, I'm chill with him. Like, I don't really care who's who.
Like you don't really you're neutral with him, right?
Like, if nobody messes with me, I don't mess with them. If someone's quote unquote popular on other servers, like they're not popular here, so I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
They're just a person to me.
Yeah, actually, I want to bring up where you are. So on AMC,
Hmm.
why AMC out of all Anarchy servers? Like, I mean, there's so many nowadays. There's everything from, you know, 2B.
So one of the owners had mentioned it when we were in a voice call, so I decided to join the server just out of pure curiosity. And I found out one of my friends, Magic X, played on it, so I joined the server. He hooked me up with items and all that stuff, and then I just ended up like accidentally getting known. It was like, oh,
Nice, nice, nice. Um, do you feel like your stay on AMC has been decent enough that you'd be calling your time on AMC fun?
yeah, it's been interesting.
Interesting, yeah, to say the least. Um, have you joined before 3.0 or 2.0?
I think once or twice. It wasn't purposely though.
Hmm. So, do you remember J-Dog?
I knew him from 4B and
Really?
9B. Not so much any other servers though.
Huh. Because he used to abuse the server quite a lot, and
That
I
is
think you know what
pretty
I'm
good.
going with this sort of abuse trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, what is it with you and AMC and abuse? Because I feel like you guys have a long history. If you care to explain a little bit.
Okay, so back, I don't even know if it was October. It might have been the a week before October. Um, I had gotten creative mode to finish a build that I was working on because I had asked nicely. um,
Who
I
gave
got
you
creative
who
mode.
gave it to you?
Sick. He said it was like a temporary thing, like, oh, you won't have this forever. Don't worry. As long as you don't tell anyone, I'm fine with it. I'm like, okay. So I didn't tell anybody, and my base mate Magic had found out, and he and I kept quiet about it for months.
For
Um,
months, but in those months you have been making items and making stashes, am I correct?
okay, so I had made a stash, but it was so far out in the end that like no one would have ever have found it. Like I had TP'd out in the end, so there was no chunk trail, none of that. No one would ever have found it. The only reason it was found was because Morbid TP'd do it and completely blew it to shit.
Yes,
Um,
speaking of morbid, do you feel like the infamous ex-admin should be banned from AMC because of his reckless behavior and abuse?
nah, he's fine. He's fine.
So really, he's
The
fine.
only reason he did it was because I did it. So it's like a negative times a negative is positive, meaning it just cancels each other out.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine if he completely screws over half the population.
It's I mean,
Anyway,
he might have been drunk, to be completely honest, to fuck everyone except himself.
yeah. Now a lot of people. Now, okay. A lot of people talk about the new owners in a bad light, in that a couple of them, or they abuse a little bit too much of their quote, I guess you could say.
You have
Um,
noted.
yes. Do you feel like it's sort of a lure to the server that it's a little bit more barbaric than other servers?
The owners, they think that they're helping the server by deleting items and all that stuff, but the items that are on it now, like illegal items, all that stuff, it makes the server interesting, and the owners are just trying to get rid of everything in every way, shape, and form. They're trying to delete it. They're trying to TP to people's bases and completely reset the chunks. They're world editing out things. That is way too much abuse, even for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just
Speaking.
need to step back.
Okay, yeah. No, speaking of that, you know how random coders, and now to our some of our viewers, you might not know this, but random coders actually TP'd to Troll's base, or his old X base, raided by Don Fior. Um, it, it was world edited out by one of the admins. And Troll, how do you feel about that?
Completely unnecessary. The base was already griefed. It was already dead. You don't need to go back there just to completely remove everything that was there. Resetting all the chunks, all the builds. He even reset the griefed areas, which was completely unnecessary. It's already griefed. Let it die. No one else would have ever have found that thing. Like, even if they found it, they wouldn't know it was abused. They would have thought, like, I don't know, the TNT duper blew over half of it to clear out a chunk. Like, it's the fact that they world edited it out, like, is just completely pointless.
So now again with that, do you do realize that the admins won't tolerate any sort of abuse nowadays? But do you think that they're going to hold up to their bargain, their part of the bargain, and they're not going to abuse anymore? Or do you think there's more to come for AMC?
They're still gonna abuse. Like, if you've noticed, whenever random coders logs on, it doesn't give him a join message and it doesn't show him a tab. He just secretly watches people to make sure no one's doing anything, and that's
I don't mean to interrupt mid-interview, but he also privately requested from me to make it so it does not show him joining the server inside the chat bridge program as well.
Okay, we don't need to have any other outside information than the person who's being interviewed. Thanks, Blaze, but I think this is gonna stay with Troll right now. Anyway, so Troll, going back to your thing. Um, Again, with the certain things, the certain revamps that AMC is going through, do you feel like, you know, there's a lot more to come?
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
I know
hopefully.
randoms drilling me over having certain items when other people have worse items than me, and they're just free roaming, placing things everywhere. Like I heard someone was placing end portals everywhere using a anti-hacked item or something like that.
Well,
And random hasn't done anything about that, but he's watching me to
I
make
mean,
sure
but
I'm
you are the person who's historically been the most barbaric with your with your with your scandals. Anyway, um,
doing.
going to items, how do you think that people believe that you have the most illegal items? Now let's face it, in past you have had so much illegals, it's not even funny. But it was hilarious at the time, actually, if I'm being honest. But nowadays a lot of people are frightened, and because there's a lot more people joining, they don't completely know the history of the server, they don't understand how much of an impact you had. So can you give in a sort of retrospect how much, not power, but ability you had on the server to do with items?
So when I had op, um, I had given myself the permissions that regular ops didn't have. Like when you had op, you didn't have access to slash help. You didn't have access to seeing coordinates, IPs, all that stuff. So I gave myself randoms tier, what tier random had, and I gave myself 32Ks, spawn eggs, shulkers inside of shulkers, all sorts of just not good stuff. I had spawned in unbreakables, which most people have, which is kind of funny because those were not meant to be given out, but they were given out.
Yeah. Actually,
Um,
who started that? Just hold that thought. Who started that? Who started the? Now I heard that Elementars was it. Do you have any opinion on that?
I had unbreakables at my base, and so Blaze had creative mode when I was de-opt. I don't even know how he had creative mode, so I TP'd him to my base, thinking, oh yeah, he'll help me out. He ended up duping like 5 or 6 dubs of illegals and stuff. I said I had to go eat dinner. I went and go and ate dinner. Came back on. Don Fear was at my base, and it's like, oh, okay, so that's how he wants to play this game.
That's quite a coincidence. Anyway, um, but yeah, going back to the whole items discussion? Do you feel like do you feel like you're with your exploits now? That's another question. But first, do you think you're ever gonna get back to the sheer amount of illegals that you once had?
Oh, I've already bypassed that.
Oh, okay. So
I was
by
duping
saying
last night for like 5 hours straight.
okay, so do you think that that coders' code is sloppy per se?
It's quite sloppy. Yes, there's so many bypasses that he doesn't know about, and he's always been asking me for bypasses and stuff so he can patch them. Like, why would I give you a bypass so you can patch it? The fuck?
That's actually kind of funny if I'm being honest. But nonetheless, anyway. So back on topic. Uh, the exploits. People are super, 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 and I use that
Paranoid.
and super paranoid, and I use super with a capital S for super G's, and I'm using super with a capital S, because people are super paranoid. That's a lot of super. Because people,
It's not good.
yes, it is a lot of super. People are paranoid of you and your exploits, and actually some things have happened recently that have gotten quite a few people scared.
Very,
Can
very recently.
Yeah, no, can we get a definite answer if you're going to be doing your bombastic off tangents in the future, or are you going to be just holding off until maybe one big day when you're gonna pull a morbid?
Oh, I can already pull a morbid right now.
Oh,
I have a
damn.
coordinate list of like 30 bases and stashes that I have just sitting at the wait.
Mm-hmm.
I have, what's his face? So Don Fuhr, their base, I had a guy named Fat Earther. I don't have any malicious plans, don't worry, but, the guy, TP'd to the base right in front of me, and I was sitting there like, did this guy just really do that? I close my game, open up the file thingy, open up the TXT file, I'm like, oh, he did!
Oh god.
So I just have like Don Fear's base that I have to add to my coordinate list.
God damn. So we know now. I've heard of word from you that you are going to go on a spree eventually. For example, maybe April Fools, maybe grief a base every 30 minutes.
BC.
I'm sorry.
He left the voice chat.
Who?
Troll did. He's back now. I unmuted him.
Okay. Well, anyway. So troll.
No.
A lot of people have been hearing, including myself, from you, that you're planning on a doomsday, called quote unquote the fucking, where you're going to make Jared's grief, like a base a month, seem like breaking a sandcastle. So what exactly is the fucking, and what are your plans with it?
So pretty much, I'm gonna go to every single person's base that I have chords to, and like just take the items but not grief the base, just to see what happens. Like out of pure curiosity, what happens. If they have a good-looking base, I'm not gonna touch it or anything. But like if it's a sloppy dirt hut-looking thing, it's just getting erased.
You're gonna make.
If it's just like 10 chests and a dirt hut, it's gone.
Gonna tear it in your asshole.
It's just gonna go off.
Oh my god, that's quite the because a lot of people, including myself, I thought you were going to be griefing 30 bases or probably more, if I'm being honest, and just completely destroying it. But apparently you're not. Depending, you know what? That's a very good incentive.
If it's a good-looking base, it's safe. If it's a sloppy-looking crap, just it's getting erased.
Actually, you know what? To Don Fior, if you're
this is a test.
To Don
This
Fior,
is a test.
Yeah.
You can build good.
Yeah, this is an incentive, Don Fury. You gotta get in this. You're a building team. If you want your base to survive, you gotta start building, man.
Their base is probably fine, because I've seen D's building skills and they're probably way beyond fine.
Yeah, no, it's a good deal. It's a good faction. Anyway,
it'll make people like actually build and not just exist on the server. Like,
yeah. Speaking of builds, actually, builds with a capital B for boo boo baloney. Anyway, pretty much what I was going to say was, nowadays with builds, nobody knows what's safe. Nobody knows what's safe to stream. Nobody knows what's safe to build. Can we get a definite answer? Now, I know I'm not gonna get you to disclose all the exploits you have, but can we get a little insight? Are our bases and builds safe? Just in general. Because I know that there are clients out there, we all do, that could, for example, search for an item. Or search for a block. Are those true? Are they out there, and do they work with other, blocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an external program thing. Like, you just activate a hack and it pops up the external program on your desktop.
Okay.
Which you can usually just get the program from online instead of putting it in a client.
Okay, so now, I'm going to ask you about a client. Now, I'm not asking you to disclose any confidential information, all that secrety stuff. But can you give us a definite answer? A lot of people say WWE's backdoored. Can we get an answer?
Oh my god.
Now, I know you've said this to me, but can you say this to our viewers?
It is not a backdoored client. I can give you well, I can't give you proof. I know the dev almost to a personal level. He does not have the coding knowledge to do that.
Yet he has the coding knowledge to make
he has the
all the
knowledge
hacks?
to get your IP and all that stuff, but he doesn't know the knowledge to get like the your password, your email, all that stuff. He doesn't know how to do that.
No. I mean, mainly what I mean was chords. Are your chords safe?
Yeah.
So,
He doesn't even play the server, which it's like
no, no, but he can sell the chords to people on the server, such as yourself, Troll.
that's understandable, but he doesn't do that.
um, okay, okay, understandable. I understand. All right, all
He has too much of a reputation to fuck everyone over.
right. Um, so I wanna talk about your future with AMC. So, where do you see yourself in the next quarter of a year to, months?
I have no idea. Probably with my base finished and a lot more expanded and cool looking. Probably half the players will quit because no one is
Of the
that
fucking
dedicated.
of the fucking.
Before
I
waiting
also
for the
yeah
thing.
I also want to talk to you about your builds and your bases and all the good stuff. Now I've been to your backdoored, or should I say it backdoored? Your abused base where you world edited a lot of stuff. Um,
Half the stuff wasn't world edited. Like only the really, really big ones were.
like that gigantic wheat thing.
Yeah, that was that was so
Yeah,
fucking
that was pretty damn huge.
the first thing wasn't world edited though, like the first layer, the second layer, like all that. And then I was like, how can I make this the world's most fucked up build ever? So
And
I
then you
did
just
slash
crashed
slash
the server.
copy, and I did slash slash paste. And I did it twice more, and then it
Oh
ended up
God.
being like extremely long, but not girthy. Then I did
Girth.
slash slash stack, and just it crashed the server like 4 times before it actually pasted.
Girth with a capital G for Gurka. Now.
It was 7 million blocks total.
God damn. Okay, we don't need to know the details. So Troll, like I said, going back to your bases and your builds. Now, when you say your bases, how people don't realize the sheer amount of places you have. So can you give us just a rough estimate?
I have 8 different bases and like 5 different stashes.
That's quite a lot, man. And
I also have a map art base, which has 5 different map arts,
I know you
which
show.
people don't have.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone really has those anymore.
I remember you showed me the sheer amount of map arts you have, and it's insane. And
Hmm.
bravo, my friend, bravo.
3 of those map arts were made legitly.
3. God damn, they're huge as well. They're like 2 by
Yeah.
2. Anyway, yeah, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of bases and a lot of stashes. Do you
I
think
think the only person that framed the map art thing was Momana.
Momana? Oh, hello, Momana. Okay, that sounded oddly sexual. I didn't in any
It
way.
did. It really did.
Oh, Momana. Oh no. No. In all
Yeah.
honesty, though, why some people like Momana, and yeah, why some people like Momana and McKim's to visit your bases and all that.
Well, McKim's, I've gathered a lot of trust up in the few months, and Momana because I knew her from Constantium, and because I based with her on AMC in the end.
Cool. Um, do you think your base is actually not? First off, I want to talk about the old backdoor base, if I should call it the backdoor base. I'm not sure if I'm using the backdoor terminology proper. Anyway, some say you orchestrated the whole grief, saying that everything was purposely set up by you to make sure that Blaze griefed it at the right moment. You TP'd him in spite, made sure that everything was in plan, and then like sort of orchestrated the way it was griefed. Do you have any comment on that?
Oh, I didn't know he was gonna grief the base.
Oh, okay.
I didn't TP'd him thinking like, oh yeah, he'll help me out. Nope. I had known Blaze from Constantium in like 2017. I was like, oh yeah, this kid's cool.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, now I'm probably mistaken, but the story goes that You TP'd him because he saw that you had op, and so he wanted a little bit in like cash and money. So,
which is what he did. He took items and then like had everyone grief the base, and then he left.
yeah, yeah. Now going to your bases, do you think any other bases are going to be griefed from you, either orchestrating it or just out of sheer unfortunate luck? Do you think any?
No.
So no. So do you have complete and utter confidence in your bases?
Yes.
Yes, that's quite a.
Except for one of my bases.
For one of your bases, yeah.
One
Yeah.
of my bases is within like 50k of small.
Okay, well, I can assure you that at least 20 people will be looking for that anyway.
Yeah. It's not even that big of a stash though. It's only like 70 to 80 dubs a shulker. It's not even that much.
Yeah, but to some people, that's like a whole life savings.
Yeah. That's like not even a dent in my stash. So like if they rate
Yeah.
it, I'm completely fine with it.
Huh. Yeah, I can, yeah, yeah. So I know that the server has gone through some tough times, but now with the inflation of people with advertising going on full blast on 2B and other servers, do you think that AMC is going to either blow up, sort of like Constantium isn't?
It's gonna slowly blow up, like
Yeah.
gathering. Anarchy servers are losing popularity though because of the 2B hype is just like dropping and no one really cares that much anymore.
Yeah, but actually, despite this, AMC has now, if I've got the math right, and I'm sure I do, it has gotten a 900% increase in players from the last half year.
Well, half of them are bots.
Yeah, half of them are bots. Thanks, John. No, but that's actually bringing me to another point. John, what are your feelings on him? Or not feelings. Oh, feelings. Oh. What are your thoughts on the guy? Do you think he's trustworthy? Do you feel like his attack on AMC was purely, out of anger?
I've known John since like 2016, so I'm completely fine with him. Like, if he wants to bot the server, that's his choice. Like, I don't care that much. But I've shown him lag machines, dupes, all sorts of shit. So,
Well, that's it's quite a statement because a lot of people hate John with a very big passion.
don't understand why. I mean, yes, he crashed the server using something I created, but still.
Oh, hold on, you created that?
The lag machine that John used, yes, I created that. That was my design, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna use it."
So that actually brings me to we have quite a number of points here to raise. Troll, with your exploits, how do you find them? Now, a lot of people have asked you. I don't know if they've gotten straight answers, but I just want to set the record straight. Are people going to get a
I'm
little
gonna keep
insight?
it straight up. I've been playing Minecraft for like 9 to 10 years. I have way too much time on my hands. Most of the exploits that I find are completely on accident.
Really? So people are just unlucky, or they not knowledgeable or smart enough to even look for them?
Yeah, I find them completely accidental. The coordinate one with the ender pearls and all that stuff, that was found accidentally. It was a few years back when I was playing, it was either factions or some other server. Someone TP'd away from me, and I was using Notice at the time, so the tracer locked right on him, and it didn't go away, and it was like really confusing me. And I was thinking in my head all the different ways that I could find the exact point of where the tracer would stop.
Now, speaking of tracers and all the whole pathfinding and the whole tracing where people are and hacker stuff and all that, a lot of people are scared, and they're scared of just going back to their bases in front of their friends or, in some cases, base mates. And
But I spiked up a lot of paranoia.
yeah,
It
you
just
really
makes me
did,
mama.
to say the least. But nonetheless, do you think that because, or not? Do you think that? Can you give us like a sort of insight on how to avoid it? Now, obviously, you want the most chords possible, but I still want to know if RTP saves you from it. So say for example, you're in the hundreds of thousands in the overworld, and then you do slash RTP, then you go to your base. Is that safe?
Sometimes. Because
So,
sometimes the tracers glitch and stay there for a little bit longer. So even if they do RTP, it puts the tracer at them for like a few seconds. And if they do slash home, it moves the tracer. So
huh.
sometimes they're not safe, sometimes they are.
Oh, okay. So, okay, cool. Well, that's actually quite helpful because a lot of people don't know that. Anyway, so,
I think they can do slash RTP and then do it, but then they still get cut.
um, anyway, so I don't know if that's I don't know if I have too many more questions for you there, Troll. Is there much you want to say to the people of AMC?
No, just keep on your toes.
um, keep on your toes. Actually, we have a question from Element. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but do you have any elements? Oh, you know what? That
Um,
that that might have been a loaded question. I don't know if that made sense.
Not really.
Who else? Oh yes, yeah. So, Kabata asks, "What's your favorite cheese?"
Fucking Swiss.
Swiss cheese. There, your answer, Kabata. Swiss freaking cheese. Now we have a little clarification from Element here. Um, Element really asks, and by does he have any of the elements? Do you have any of his stashes?
One of them.
One of them. Ooh, Element. How do you feel about that? That's a lot. Wow. Okay. That's wow. Element just posted in chat. Go away, Ree. Deloaded is actually having a little question here. He's just finishing up his message. Troll, is there much you want to say to the public about you or anything about you?
Sometimes I mess with people, sometimes I don't. Just because my name is the Troll doesn't mean I like the name. The only reason I haven't changed my name is because I made it in like 2010 or something like that, and I just refused to change it because like I've never changed my IGN before.
Huh. That's actually kind of interesting. So
People call me troll, I'm like, I don't troll people. The fuck, go away.
I mean, depends on who you ask, really, but nonetheless. Anyway, so Deloaded actually has, I think, the final question. Are people? Oh, I'm asking you, Troll, from Deloaded. Are people generally good, or are they generally evil? And in what direction are they predisposed to? From human, just a human, condition.
Restate that question?
um,
My intellect is not high enough?
yeah, you gotta watch that extra Rick and Morty to get the intellect points. The question is, are people generally good, or are people generally evil? And in what direction are they predisposed? Like, do you think people are at their core good or bad?
Depends if you know the person.
Yeah, I guess so. In some cases. No, I think no. This is the final question. Kabata asks, "What is your second favorite cheese?"
Ooh. Pepper jack.
Pepper jack? That's not a very popular question, or not a very popular answer.
Because it's like spicy cheese. It's good.
That's very interesting. Oh my gosh, Element 83 just says troll in all caps, and I believe top. Oh yes. Troll, what are you, and what is your relationship with foreskin?
It was a meme I saw on iFunny and was like I'm gonna take your
I'm gonna take your foreskin.
I made a kit earlier, a few weeks ago, and now like recently I've duped like I don't know 10 or 11 shulkers of this one sword that says I'm gonna take your foreskin.
Oh my gosh. No,
Because it
it
gold red.
no, it should be foreskin like Slayer or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think I think that's the last couple of questions um from them from them. But actually, a couple more would be what are your thoughts on Gambino?
Hmm. 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 I have to be careful what I say here. Hmm. Without trying to offend him. Oh my god. Hmm. I'm pretty sure I knew him from, I think, Constantium. Or it might have been Baron Dome's Discord. Uh, he's a pretty chill guy, but he just really a little clingy and needy some of the times.
Clingy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like if you have something, he'll be like trying to like get to know you to try to get it, or
So would you call him manipulative?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's just a little insight to all you viewers who might be joining his team or in his team or inciting for his team. He might leave you in the dust. Anyway,
Just a
just a little lot bit. Anyway, um, actually, Troll, how do you know Baron Dome? I know this is some unexpected last questions, but I just got a couple just running through my head. So how do you know Baron Dome, and
I
how
was in his Discord for like a year and a half or so until he like noticed me, and
noticed me
what's his
Sentai?
face? I think it was Morbid who recommended me into the trusted category before he changed his Discord and stuff. If I scroll down a little bit, it's
Mm.
I now have a different role and there's roles separated and stuff.
Uh,
But,
do we know if Morbid Rain is out of Baron Dome's inner circle now because of the shenanigans he did?
no, he's still with him. They base on 2B together.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't see a reason why they would split.
Alright, anyway. I think that might just wrap it up for now. We thank you very much for watching the AMC podcast. I've been your host, Super. This has been um, the Troll 2001.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, Blaze. He's saying wait, wait in chat. We're very sorry to our viewers who are just tuning in, who are I'm always the last question. Okay, then Blaze, what is your last question?
Shut.
Kabata, what's your third favorite cheese? Yes, Troll, are there nested shulkers on AMC?
I will not disclose that information.
You won't. Okay, well, that's our final. I'm sorry to all our viewers who don't know what's going on. While we're recording this, we are actually taking questions from the AMC Podcast Discord. Link will be in the description. Nonetheless, we thank you very much for watching the AMC Podcast. I've been your host, Super. With me, we've had the Troll 2001, and I will see you in the next buddy. In the next one. Goodbye.